Hello, and welcome to 15 at 15 Fridays, where you can get a quick bite of Ideate software techniques, tips and tricks, and training every other Friday. I'm Jason Bailey. I'm the Ideate Software Training Manager. And today we're going to talk about line pattern management with Ideate StyleManager. I've got my colleague Richard Taylor standing by to answer any questions that you post to the chat here in GoToMeeting. And there'll also be a couple important links in that chat at the end. So make sure you check that before the end of the presentation. So a little bit about our 15 at 15 training series. You'll find that all of our Ideate software products have a similar standard of providing getting started guides, user manuals, and how-to exercises at kind of a bare minimum. Today, we're focusing on the getting started guide and the getting started exercise specific for StyleManager. And I will be pointing to a couple of locations outside here as well in the using StyleManager section, as well as a bit on automation and how we can use automation to run some StyleManager output. Okay, so the goals that we have today are to learn how to analyze, delete, and merge your line patterns to bring consistency to your Revit files. And these processes, these steps are going to be similar to any number of the other style-based elements that we have under management, under StyleManager. So you'll see how much time you can save by letting StyleManager do a lot of this work for you. So why use Ideate StyleManager? I mean, we have Ideate Explorer that helps you audit your Revit model elements. BIMlink is going to help you like transform, update, create data. Deeper than that, though, all these elements are made up of a number of styles. For instance, a 3D and a 2D wall element in Revit is going to have a multitude of different object styles, line styles, materials, and fill patterns, and even more. So how do we manage these styles as easily as we can manage elements with Ideate Explorer? So that's where Ideate StyleManager comes in to help you understand, what's in use. And again, this is not just in your model, but in your families that are in your model as well. So you can easily modify, kind of mend things up to match your standard and understand, with the result being a clean and consistent Revit model. So we're going to go through this getting started exercise, and let me hop over to Revit now for that. Okay, so now I've got our getting started guide open on the left here. As I said before, all of our products have getting started guides, and they're designed to work in trial mode, where in this case, we have limitations on StyleManager that allows you to test line patterns, materials, and material assets. So the exercises that we have here are going to allow you to do any of these with a trial mode. The line pattern exercise will run through here. So in this exercise, we'll use the Revit sample file named RME Advanced Sample Project. You may have this on your computer already. Sometimes in the file open, you'll have a drop down here for sample files, which is going to show you the sample files in the forms of families and projects. They may not be available. I know in 2024 that was removed, I believe. So we've created these links that will help you download these files really easily from the Autodesk site. And these are version specific. So I can just download this as well as finding it locally. And in my case, this pops up as a default right into my Windows Downloads folder. So I can see that in that spot and easily open that file and just, throw it away when I'm done with it. The purpose of this exercise then is to analyze our line patterns and then delete what's not valid, essentially, and then merge what makes sense to kind of combine for a more consistent style. I'll go ahead and start with this step of analysis. And again, I can start StyleManager. This case, I've created a shortcut to it from my toolbar here. And if I'm in line patterns, I can see a list of all the line patterns that are in here. There's quite a bit called import, so I can easily use the search function to find import. Control A actually to select all of those and analyze them real quick. And this is going to show me what's in use and what's not in use in this project. And I sort by the count up here, and I'll see that there are only one of these styles that's actually unused. A lot of those seem to be import, so I'll type that in to filter down my selection. Once this is complete, I'm able to use the column on the top to sort by the amount of uses. So now I know that only one actual line pattern is in use, and it's in a few of these different object styles that are in imports and family. This E hidden standard high, for example, I can find if I open the object styles management from within the shortcut that we provide to you and to Revit. It's going to show up in here as well on the E hidden standard high. So rather than having to dig into the deep parts of Revit and their management, we can find all those styles and understand their relationships right within here. So the next thing I want to look at is my deletion. The whole point is to delete any non-standard lines in here. So I'm just going to simply untick the used and then click in here and do a Control A and go ahead and delete all of those unused imported patterns because they're really not doing me any good at this point in time. Now that I've deleted the unused line patterns, I'll move on to merging what might be duplicated. So I'm going to make sure that I have this isolate duplicates turned on, and I'm going to go ahead and clear the value from my search. And then I can select and drag across all 5 of these and analyze them to see what's left. So again, this is going to look through any imports, any families, anything that's connected to the project and analyze the styles. So depending on how many objects you have in your files, it could take a different amount of time. And then the color coding is a result that we get that shows, in this case, these 3 different patterns are exactly the same. Now we see dashes used many times, while aligning line and aligning line 1/8 are barely used or not used at all. So that's when I can grab all of these and simply merge them and choose dash as the style that I want to keep, again, because it is the one that's got the most. So I'll go ahead and merge, and that completes rather quickly. And we've gone, really quickly. We've been able to delete 43 line patterns in just a few steps. And you know that StyleManager did that cleanly and safely for you. Okay, so now let's move on to the section that I wanted to point out also about automation and what we've got available for StyleManager in the way of Ideate automation. I'm going to go ahead and move this out a little further. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Ideate automation, Ideate automation is our scripting solution for Revit. And you can learn more about that in the help section as well. So I want to quickly just show you the 3 example scripts we have. These 2 are to analyze the use of CAD import styles in either families or families within a folder. So I should say families within a file or families within a folder. And then the STL, again for StyleManager, analyze RVT. This is sort of a general one where you can choose from any number of the styles that we have to analyze and create an export of that. So maybe if you want parameters, it can have either and or a summary and detailed output. And then you can decide which of, one or many files you want to run that on and go ahead and export that. I've run those in the background here so we can actually see in my output folder where I had an example of the parameters in use in a project. So I can simply open that in Excel real quickly. If I'm comfortable with making edits in Excel, I can really little time get a nice understanding of what's going on in this file here. So in this case, I would do a format as a table, and then I'm going to be able to sort and filter on those parameters that I have in here. Maybe I'm interested in the usage, and I'm not really concerned about anything with a 0 usage. But in the way of parameters, I want to make sure that everything is going to have a unique name. So, that may be something where I want to do some conditional formatting and look for duplicate values in cells like this. So that's going to really quickly kind of narrow down where I might want to go back and do some management. Okay, well, I hope that's been helpful for everyone today. Don't forget to look in the chat there. You'll see a link to that survey, so go ahead and take the survey. And if you do want to make sure you want to get the download the latest software, you can always check from in product in the upper right, as you can see here from our drop down, and check for updates. And find us online at ideatesoftware.com. And if you're a customer needing support, you can always reach out to us at support@ideatesoftware.com. Well, thank you once again for spending your time with me, and I hope everyone has a great weekend.